Good morning. Welcome to Color Me Happy. Here is your weekly dose of inspiration. I'm actually coming to you from just outside of Victoria. It's a little place called Bear Mountain. It's nice if you like golfing, which I get to hole 7 and I'm like, I'm good. I like to be in nature. And good for you if you like golfing. But there's lots of hiking trails right outside the doors here. It's really cool. And lots of oceans and like stops around Victoria to see. We went hiking yesterday and then like to this big opening of the ocean and like the beach that goes on forever. And there's like little tide pools and what was it? Woody's Lagoon and then Woody's Beach. Yeah. Anyway, it's great. I'm on vacation, but I still want to podcast with you. But Teddy found me, of course. Anyway, I have a really cool guest on this week. Thank you for being here. I appreciate your time. I have a great quote. I'm like totally obsessed. And if you know this, if you've read my book, because I quote him so much, I often get I pull things from my book for our weekly inspiration because I spent years writing it and there's so much in there that I find that I'm repeating myself anyways. And I'm like, oh, I actually spoke about that in my book and I gave people the tools and cues in the book to, get inspired and take action. So it's here is one of my favorite quotes by Jim Carrey. Fear is going to be a player in your life, but you have to decide how much. You can spend your whole life imagining ghosts, worrying about the pathway to the future, but all there will ever be is what is happening here in the decisions we make in the moment, which are based in either love or fear. And this, Finn, you're naked and I have a camera on, so just step back. Thank you. And I'm here with my 3 boys and my husband. So 4 boys. Anyway, I want to put this out, so I think it's really important. So this really resonated, especially when I was doing this. It actually turned out to be 3,082 square feet mural project. And at first, when we talked about the subject matter being truth and reconciliation, I sat in that for a while and like as much as my heart wanted to help, it was like I could not do it alone at all. Like that was not something I could tackle alone. And so I sat in fear, like what will people think? What would happen? And it froze me. It put me into a place of like self-loathing, small self-worth, and I have grown so much since then and made so many realizations, and it was a huge lesson. And these experiences are meant to strengthen us in a way. That's why we go through them. And I learned that when you open your heart and you choose love, how it can be a huge expander in your life, specifically when you decide to let other people in. So that whole concept of, collaboration over competition and what that can mean. What that means to me as a creative is that you can envision something and it can be good, but when you let people in, it can be so much better than you ever imagined it could be. And my voice is shaking because it was such a powerful experience to execute this project over 2 years. And I met so many amazing people, and that's what made it special. It wasn't putting paint on the wall. It was the people. And that was one of the greatest lessons I've ever learned in this life, and I cannot wait to see what happens in the future and the wonderful people I will meet along the way, because I don't know if I can top this experience. It's been amazing. So one of the things I did was include Indigenous dancers and get to know them a bit more. And it was inspired from Lloydminster's very first powwow. And my friend Randy Noble, who partnering with us in this project, Yellow Finch Images, she took these extraordinary photos, and that's really when like that magic spark clicked of like, this is it, this is what we need to use. And partnering with Randy, even though she had never, it was a big leap of faith, never painted a mural before, I was like, oh, you'll learn. And we had such a blast. And of course, the Lloydminster Region Health Foundation was a supporter, helped fundraise. They were a huge part, and their board saw this for what it was. They saw the truth and reconciliation piece for our community. I just couldn't see it yet, and they were certain that this was it. And so their unwavering faith in myself and my team and their CEO, Stephanie Monroe, were the reason this project came into fruition, the reason it happened. And we are having a final ceremony on September 14th, so you'll get to meet all these people that I'm talking about in Lloydminster. We're having ceremony, drumming, dancing, a feast. I'm very excited. And so one of the people I met, and who her daughter, who they call Princess, because she's always Princess of the Powwow, is on the mural, and her name is Jaterez, and she so I got to talk to her mom, who has 14 children, so she had to escape into her vehicle at night to get on this podcast. So I loved learning about how they travel the powwow circuit, and how her creative family, they drum and they sing and they dance and they create indigenous costume and pieces, and it's so cool. So I can't wait for you to tune into that. If you are interested in living a more expansive life, and you want the tools to do so, I have my book. It's called Color Me Happy. No way. See your everyday ordinary as extraordinary, because I truly think that is possible for everyone. I'm not saying I'm going to dish you out an easier life. I'm going to give you the tools so you can live your life and enjoy the smaller moments, which when you are more present, when you are more mindful, that it's like you've tapped into yourself and your creativity and how you can expand as a human being, and just live a good life every day by embracing it all. And like I said, like, especially when we relate back to, or go back to this project, like, that it wasn't always easy. There were difficult parts that I had to sit in and overcome, and now I see them as moments of strength. And it wasn't easy at the time, and that's what the book is about. So check that out. And also, if you're into learning about murals or portraiture, we have classes. We have our portrait class. That is why I can execute a mural so large, is because I've drawn like thousands of faces. So when it comes to expanding that mural and that image, I have confidence that I will know how to do that with the tools that I've practiced and techniques that I've honed over the years. And a lot of them really made this project come together seamlessly. Like, we installed it in 14 days. So knowing how to make that happen, right? So if you're just starting, the sketchbook project is free, and you can dip into there if you're like just an emerging artist or wanting to get creative. The sketchbook project is free, and you just sign up in our newsletter and email. It's right in, like, it's easy. It's right in the notes. And that will just get you creating and tapped into your magic every day. The next step would be, if you're into portraiture, learning those techniques and those transfer techniques and how to get those perfect images. And then if you're creative and looking to expand your mural practice, and do projects similarly to this, like a community mural project, or how to dip your toes in at all, how to get started. We have our free mural bundle, so that will give you our tips. And then we have our mural class, which is a bit more in depth, very in depth. I covered everything because your first mural is scary. Okay, thank you for being here, friend. Enjoy this episode. And as always, we appreciate your time, and we hope you choose love first and and it becomes a huge expander in your life. And I'm going to go back to enjoying my holiday. So you just said you're in your car to find peace and quiet.
Yeah, I'm in my SUV right now. The little ones are sleeping in my room. Sorry. And then all my teenagers and my daughters and my son-in-law are having a movie night. So I thought, well, I'm not going to ruin their movie, so I'll come in my car and talk since it's like the quietest place where no one's going to come knocking on the door and bug mom right now.
You're so sweet. I'm so glad you took the time to sit down with me, um, because you probably just don't have any.
Um, I got a little bit of rest half an hour ago. We had a late Easter dinner today as we were gone to the celebration out in Enoch First Nation in Alberta. They had a traditional powwow out there this past weekend. So,
Oh, wow.
excuse me, we were out there. All my boys went to sing. They set up their drum group, and my younger ones danced. My girls danced, and it was a busy weekend. We had to take four vehicles,
Oh my God.
four vehicles, yeah, and so we didn't get to celebrate Easter on Sunday. So when we got home, we got a chance to rest, and then we had our Easter dinner. Kids had their Easter baskets yesterday, so we kind of made it all, evenly happen and without any chaos. And so yeah, I got a little bit of rest today out of all this weekend. Half hour of it got to, relax. And mind you, I'm also expecting baby 17. I'm 4 months. So yeah.
Oh my goodness. So you're probably a little bit tired, hey?
Um, I'm okay. I'm okay. I usually don't really, this is my time right now. When the kids are asleep, this is my time. I'm usually up until about midnight, and I'll watch a movie in my room. I have a big projection screen in my room. So when the kids are asleep, they I get to watch my movie while they're asleep.
That's your time. Okay, let's
Ah,
give everyone a little bit of a background. So you said this will be baby 17?
yes, I have um 14 right now, and then we had two miscarriages, one last year and just recently in December.
Oh
And
my
then we found
goodness.
out we were pregnant, like right after our miscarriage, we found out we were pregnant, and this one's gonna stay. So we found that out through ultrasound, and doctor's been keeping an eye on everything. Baby's got a strong heartbeat, so this one's gonna stay. We hope that we go full term and that everything works out for us. And so far, so good.
I'm sending some love your way.
Thank you. I'm actually
Um,
sitting in my vehicle with my oldest daughter. This is my oldest, my firstborn daughter.
Hi. Hi.
She's
Nice to
one of
meet
the
you.
dancers. She's my jingle dress dancer. She's part of the ones that make my girls' outfits, the smaller ones. She sews their dresses, and she does a little bit of beadwork and stuff like that. So she keeps her little sisters looking good out there. And I used to sew when they were smaller, but as they got a little older, they started to come around the table and, bug mom. And so I couldn't really sew. So I just thought, well, it's just time to put things away. And I thought, when my girls get older, and their time comes, I will show them, to sew and, little basic stuff here and there. And they picked up, really good because, when they become women they first get their time, that's when they start to sew and bead and, do crafts and all that stuff and, help mom around the kitchen. And I don't really usually push like how some families push the 5-year-olds or 6-year-olds to, start learning how to use the broom or, you know, wipe a little dishes. I don't really push them at that age. Like I think maybe that's why I kind of overexhaust myself sometimes because I baby them that way. But, I have my own ways and so far so good.
That's
So yeah,
nice. I think everyone, yeah, does feel pressure when society tells you something should be one way, but I think it's nice that you follow your instincts and because kids only get to be kids one time.
true. Yes.
Hmm.
Yep.
When I had my first baby boy, I asked my grandma, who had 13, how the heck she did it. And she said, well, the older ones helped with the middle ones, and the middle ones helped with the younger ones.
Yeah,
Is that
that's
how it works?
exactly with us. Yep. Yep. My older daughter, her name's Jazera. She's like the second mummy. And then my other daughter, she's 21. She's like the third mummy, but she's she's too soft. She can't really put her foot down with them, not like us. I mean, my oldest daughter, like she's learned from mom how to, put her foot down and, we have mean voices and, we have nice voices. So when the kids know, okay, this is the tone and, we gotta, we gotta listen and we gotta help. And so, yeah, she's the second mom. And then my boys don't want us to, excuse me, they, they don't like to see us, and they're like me, their sisters do so much around the house. So they take it upon themselves to also, sweep and mop and, no, mom, you don't need it. I'll do it. Like they're picking up on that and they learn to give us a break too. And then the little ones, they'll take them off our way once in a while, put on a movie and so we could like cook and do other stuff. So everybody has that certain job in the house and we don't really ask the little ones to do too much, but pick up their toys, of course, and you know,
Hmm.
put trash in the garbage and stuff like that. Pick up little cups and bowls and stuff and throw them in the
Oh my
bin.
gosh, there's so much.
Yeah,
It's from each person.
yeah.
Um, where did the because you said is it 9 of your children dance?
Mm, all my 5 girls do. The 5 girls dance, and two two boys. My 5-year-old and my 9-year-old. My 10-year-old, my 10-year-old is wanting to, but um sometimes he says he wants to and then he does, every odd time he will, but he's not like always one of the dancers. But all the girls and a couple of boys do. And then the rest of the boys sing. They sit
Mm.
at the drum and they sing. Yeah. And
So
then
were you
my
a dancer then?
I was when I was younger. Yeah, I used to dance jingle. That was my first dance, and then my second was traditional.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I still have my outfit. I keep it because I always think, one day I'll dance, and I did last year, but this year I don't think that I will because, I'm pregnant and don't want to put too much on myself this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So who taught you to dance?
Myself and my dad. My mother was Catholic and my father was raised cultural. So, and I'm their only child. I was the only child that they have together. And so, um, because mom was always busy working and stuff like that, he took me with him, traveling ever since I was about 5 years old. I traveled with him throughout Saskatchewan and Alberta. He took me to powwows because he sang. He had his own drum group as well. And so I kind of picked up. He would make me watch the girls dance, and he would tell me to watch their footwork, and then he would tell me, if you want to dance, then I'll get you a dress and all that. So sure enough, he did, because I agreed that I thought, I wanted to dance and try it. So I did. And he bought me my first outfit, and then it just started from there. He bought me a jingle dress. And
How old were
then
you?
I was about 7 years old. And then I danced straight up until I was 17.
So that
Yeah.
impacted you in a really big way.
Yes, it did. Like I don't believe in my mother was totally against our culture because it was just because of the way she was raised by her father. They were Catholic, and they didn't really um go like, the cultural way with dancing and smudging and all that. And so, but she eventually, wanted to see that side of where we were going. She kind of had an idea what we were going to, but she didn't want to disobey her father. And so it was just my dad's choice to take me along with him, and I chose that way. I did go to church with my mom and her family, but I learned to adapt to both sides,
Mm.
like the church and our cultural way and stuff like that. So
Was that difficult for you?
no, it wasn't. Like I wasn't given, you know, like a choice or anything. It was just something that I chose to do, because
Mhm.
I always believe, whether, it doesn't matter where we pray, he listens anyways.
Mm.
Our prayers are heard either way, in church or the cultural way. It's still the same regardless. Even if you're, in your room, kneeling at your bed, or sitting in your car, and he still hears you. It doesn't matter. So I didn't. It was just a choice to learn both ways, and it was really interesting. So
Yeah, that's a beautiful way of sharing that
yeah,
and looking at it
yes,
too.
and
Is
then
that what you teach your own children?
yeah, and then both because I had a previous relationship, I have 10 kids in my first relationship, and he was cultural, and he also read the Bible. So we both taught our kids both ways, and that there was still only one God. And you know to this day it's still like that. They understand the word of God, the Bible. They understand our cultural ways. They respect both ways. It's not like, oh, we're not supposed to go that way. And it's not like that. So
Mhm.
yeah, they're
We
taught both
talk
ways.
about that in like when we talk about making the mural, and that's how we touched base because Randy Noble captured such a beautiful photograph from the powwow in Lloydminster. And am I saying this right? Judarez?
No, it's Gutierrez.
Do I knew I would. I'm really bad with names, so I get really nervous.
Gutierrez.
Gutierrez.
Yes.
Uh, and is it Jute for short or Gutierrez always?
Um, we don't we don't call her by her first name. We call her
Oh,
Princess. Ever since she was born, when I first caught her in my arms and stuff, I called her Princess. And
okay.
that's just the name that she's been stuck with. And
Of
You
course,
know, when
princess would be on the side of a
yeah,
building.
yeah. So it was pretty funny because all these years we've called her princess, and when she first started school in kindergarten, um, you know, most children would tell the teachers their first name and real name, right? Because but she didn't understand, who Jatiris was when they were calling her. And I did mention on the application when she registered for kindergarten that she was used to being called princess. So I don't know if they read that part. I had to remind them because there was like Jatiris and she wouldn't pay attention, right? She would just be like looking around like, who are they calling? And then the teacher had told me, she's not responding to her name. And I was like, well, that's because she listens to Princess more, and everybody calls her Princess. So,
Oh wow. Yeah,
yeah.
and in the photograph that we're using, she's basically wearing a crown.
Yeah,
So,
she represented our nation where I'm from, Mosquito Grizzly Bear Head Lean Man First Nation. It's about um 25 minutes south of Battleford. It's a community of now over, we'll say, 5,000 people. And it's a small reserve right now. Not all 5,000 reside on the reserve. There's probably maybe only 1,500 to 2,000 that reside there, and the rest are all in urban settings, such as myself, due to, housing and stuff like that. So, but we did receive a new house last year. We were selected for a new house in, back in our homeland. So, we're really looking forward to having a fresh start. Maybe this year our house will be ready. And we've been living in Lloydminster for the past 9 years. So it's going to be a big change. And because we've been so busy, so used to having to, have such, fast food and, just to drive down to the mall and stuff like that, where it's probably going to be different for us. And the last time I lived on my reserve was when I was 16. That's when I met my kids' dad, and I've been out here ever since. I'm 43 now. So,
so it's a very different life.
yes, and I'm kind of having like a little anxiety how I'm going to handle, being out on the First Nation compared to being here. So, but I've learned a lot, I've learned a lot all these years. And I basically left the nest when I was 16 years old. I was on my own. So that was something that my parents were really proud of me, because I still kept, going on with my education. And that was when I had my first child when I was 16, and I knew how to, handle being a mother at that age, because I used to babysit a lot when I was younger. So I knew how to take care of my children and, how to take care of a home, because my mom was always, sick. They had diabetes most of their life. So I took that role of cleaning and cooking and doing stuff like that around the house when I was younger. So I think maybe that's why I don't really push my little ones to, try grow up too fast the way I did, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. So, and Jatira's middle name is Nahana Clearwater. She carries her dad's last name, Thomas.
Okay. Yeah, I have that.
Mm.
I have that here. And before what we were talking about, too, before I brought up Princess and her beautiful image, um, when you were talking about, you know, not just believing one thing or the other, but uh and we talk about in our meetings and what this mural represents is about building bridges and uh, you know, not having that separatism um of community, but um accepting one another
Yeah.
and celebrating different belief systems, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I've
And
I've
it
had,
can't just come from one side.
no, no. And growing up, I've had that opportunity to, I've met other races, and you know, we talked about, like who they, how they say in their language, who they pray, and just how different things are. Because when you meet different people, it's always, you want to learn about their culture and stuff like that. So I was very happy to learn, that like the Chinese way, the the Buddha way, all these race, how they go to church and stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
in some ways it's pretty similar to ours, like the cultural way. Like they have to dress a certain way. They except for some are a little more strict in how you dress and who you talk to, like the females and the males and stuff like that. Where ours is, it's not like that. We we're pretty outgoing, and we don't really have no boundaries or rules or anything in our culture. It's just respecting one another.
Mm-hmm. Like it's a matriarchal. Am I saying that right? More
Mhm.
like women are very powerful.
Yes. And I think the reason why they say that, it was because we're the birth givers. We're the ones who give life. And I was just actually reading some things on Facebook that people were sharing tonight about respecting women. Because a lot of years, these past years, and ever since the MMIW came about, we have so many that are still missing, and they have been disrespected by a man. They're either not here because of a man, or just things like that. And they talked about how much you need to respect the older woman, the younger woman. It doesn't matter who, because we are the ones who are bringing life into this world, and we're the ones populating this world.
Mm-hmm.
We bring life, and we're teachers to our children, and also to the men. So
There's a lot of beauty and power and strength that goes along with that.
yeah.
Well, and resilience.
Yeah. So I did mention that I have 14 kids. 9 of them are boys, 5 of them are girls, and all of them start with J's.
Oh
All
my
J's.
gosh.
There's not one name that doesn't start with a J. So there, even my grandchildren. I have 3 grandchildren, and they all start with J's as well. It was just something that I wanted to, how we distinguish our family.
Mm-hmm.
So, in the powwow circuit, they call us the J family, because they know every one of us are J's.
Um, can you talk about the powwow circuit a little bit?
Yes, I can. When you like when we first, the a week powwow usually is like a 3-day gathering, which during the summer it consists of some weekend, well, every weekend, some weekdays, and it'll be like that from June until August. It'll be right from weekends, weekends. It'll be back and forth, because there's so many communities within the First Nations territories. There's Saskatchewan and Alberta. There's also, we go that way to Manitoba and up towards BC, right? So everybody kind of wants to get their celebration in. So they they go like that, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And every Friday and every first Tuesday, depending, there all the grand entries would be towards the evening, about seven at night. And they would all, gather together, and they would have a grand entry, and they'd have all like the men, and then all the women, and then all the children. They would make their way into the arbor. That's what you call a grand entry. And they would have like dignitaries, they'd have elders carrying flags representing Canada, Saskatchewan, Alberta. Now they do have a new flag, which is the Every Child Matters. They carry that in as well. And they have speakers that come in after the grand entry. They talk about, basically talk about, our respect, our respecting, one another. They pray for each other. They say a prayer for grieving families, or, all the children that were in residential schools, the MMIW. Like, they don't leave anybody out during that time, and it usually takes about maybe 20 minutes or so, and then they start to they'll share. Every drum group will come, and there'll be about 20 to 30 drum groups coming from all over Canada and US. People travel, and they come from all over, so they share their songs during what we call an intertribal after the grand entry. So everybody gets to hear, all the drum group songs that come, which say, well, if there's 30 drum groups, then you hear 30 different songs, right? Sometimes they're in different languages as well. There's like Ojibwe, there's Cree, there's Sioux. So they all come around, and then they sing their songs. And then after they do like the 30 intertribals or whatever, which is only maybe like tops 3 minutes, 3 minutes a song. And then after they do like all the intertribals and stuff, and then they get into the competition. Our powwows, some are competition, some are traditional. Traditional meaning every dance category, right from the adults, seniors, and children, they all get paid after they dance, which would range from like $20 to $50. Some get 100. The older ones get 100. The adults usually get 50. And then the smaller ones would get like 25 or 30, like that. But where you go to a competition powwow, you get judged. You get judged by your footwork, you get judged by your outfit, and you accumulate points for that weekend, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Sunday is where you know whether you made the top 10, and you would place in the top 5. They would have prize money for first, second, third, fourth, and fifth. So there's a difference there. Like traditional, you get paid right away after you dance. Competition, you wait till the last day to see if you placed. And some of the prize money ranges, like say first for the adults would be about $1,500. And then the last would be about $700, $600. So sometimes they're dancing for big money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and then traditional, where it's just the same amount every day for three
Yeah.
days. Yeah. And
So
the
you
thing,
you as a family travel and do the circuit?
yes, every year I've been doing it ever since I was on my own, ever since I had my first child. Yeah.
What? That, oh
Yes.
my goodness.
Yeah. So sometimes people, they say you should do like a little documentary on, how you get ready for your day and what you pack, and, how the kids get involved. And, I even got asked to write a book, because, my, ever since I've been on my own, I've been through so much, we all go through so much, and like, probably wondering why, I had two relationships, because obviously the first one didn't work out, right? So we go through a lot. So, but all in all, both my other kids' dad, my ex-husband, and my common law now, we all get along. So they both talk. So we co-parent really good, where he gets the kids during the week. They come back to me on weekends because of school and stuff like that right now. So we're pretty good like that, and we help each other out with a lot of things too. Vehicle fixing and all that. Like, we work pretty well together, which I'm really happy with. Like, a lot of people say, you guys are such good people because, both the kids' dads get along. They can both sit at the table and have coffee together while, I'm with the kids in the living room or picking up stuff off the floor. And, it's not awkward or anything,
Mm-hmm. And every family does look different. And like my friend has a weaving business, and they just moved out to BC, and she ended up weaving so like baby wraps, and she actually her whole company's run by her ex-husband and her and they weave on these machines. So they decided they didn't have to weave in Lloydminster anymore. They could weave in a better spot because
Yeah.
they just sell it by the meters. So they got a place on a river in BC, and it's really beautiful. But and yeah, they all get along clearly because they all still live kind of like together in the same
Yeah.
space,
No,
and it is possible. And you know, it doesn't have to be one way.
no, no, when we separated, that was something that I had talked about when we knew we were going to separate was, he didn't want me to move far because, in case, if anything happened to the kids or emergency that he needed me, there and that, or I needed him, right? So, he's from Onion Lake First Nation, which is only about 40 minutes from Lloydminster, going north. So that's how close I stayed because we decided that in case anything that I would be near and he would be near, right? So
Mm-hmm.
excuse me, but yeah, when we travel with all the kids, I and my older daughter and my granddaughter, we're all in my SUV. There would be seven of us in here, and she has her own vehicle that my her and my other daughter share. So my other daughter would take like maybe four in hers or five, and then my common law now would take four in his truck because he's the one who pulls our trailer. We bought a trailer last summer and it sleeps 12. So he pulls that along, when we travel, so we're not like, getting hotel rooms or anything like that. And
Mm-hmm.
it's
Oh, I
pretty
couldn't
handy
imagine
to
trying to
have.
get a hotel with
But when
like,
I do get hotels, we're getting suites that are side by side,
yeah.
connecting doors or yeah. So that
That's a
was
good idea to get a trailer though. That
yeah.
probably helps a lot. You just have
Oh
to
yeah.
pack it. That's the
It
only
has
thing.
bunk beds. It's got bunk beds. The table can, go into a bed, and there's also a pull-out queen in the living room. And then we have the master room. So and there's a quite a bit of room for myself and my common law and the five smaller ones. We're like we're like this on the bed. We're just like in a row. So yeah, the kids learn to adapt to be in the trailer, and it's really warming to be in there as well because it's cozy. It's like our
Mm-hmm.
second home during the summer, and we're never here during the summer like at our house. And the kids would honestly rather be in the trailer traveling than being here.
Yeah.
That's how comfy it is. Yeah. And then I have like an outdoor kitchen outside. So I could cook outside or inside. And yeah, the kids love it.
And those are beautiful memories,
yes, it is.
you
And
know?
most of them, that most of the times where it's so comfy just being all together, knowing that I have all 14 of my kids with me and my grandchildren. I can see that they're safe, they're not hungry, they're not hurt, they're not lonely. And then their dad will also come traveling sometimes with us, and then or he'll meet up with us. So that makes it all better for them too when their dad's around.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're all around. And it's funny because when we go to camp, he camps not too far from us. So that way, the kids they're not wandering too far to find him. So which is it's pretty nice to have us all together like that.
Mm-hmm. It's
Mhm.
it's like a beautiful chaos.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes that does happen. We have our little
Yeah.
disagreements sometimes, but we don't let it discourage us from being a family or anything.
No, no. And we're all just really we're all just doing our best every day and working toward grander things one small step at
Yeah,
a
and
time.
and most of all, healthy. Having being healthy minds, healthy hearts, healthy. Just being happy, and when there's we rarely have disputes or someone's not happy. We are always trying to make things work, or make one satisfied. Well,
Mhm.
I am anyways, so
That's your main job.
yeah. Yeah, with the little ones too. And when I know they're having a little feud over a toy, well, mom's gonna go out and I'm gonna get like 5 toys, all the same, so they're not arguing or fighting over one. They'll just be different colors.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't like conflict either.
Yeah. No, it's not something that I've ever grew up around. So I've always wanted to have healthy relationship and healthy children. So far, so good, but we did have some of our days, such as dealing with so many losses. And you're probably wondering, somewhere where my parents are. Um, my brothers, my sister. I did have brothers and a sister, but in 2015, I lost my sister to suicide. Um, she was in a relationship. It wasn't very long, and she ended up finding out that she was pregnant, and she contracted AIDS from this partner that she thought, you know, told her the truth and all that stuff. And um, she was hurt when she found out she was sick. Um, she dealt with her sickness for 8 years. And then after her son turned 8, she committed suicide because she couldn't live knowing that she couldn't have, you know, a partner, because she thought nobody would want her because of her sickness, or nobody wanted to be with her. No one wanted to be around her. That was her thoughts, all this negative thinking that came into her mind took over and caused her to commit suicide. And so she left us back in 2015. And then not long after, that was in July 1st. And then my oldest brother, he was 42 at the time. He had diabetes, and he had a heart attack in December. So my sister passed in July, my brother passed in December, and then my other brother passed in January. He had a heart attack as well. And then in 2018, my father fell sick. He too had diabetes, and he was going through dialysis. Same with my mother. Both were on dialysis. And then not long after my dad was doing dialysis, he had passed just a day before his birthday in April in 2018. So, losing my father, had a big impact on my mom. And she left 5 weeks after his death, just 2 days before my birthday in June 7th. She had passed as well. So she had
I
basically was
Oh my
heartbroken after
goodness.
my dad left. So, everybody has left me. So
I'm so sorry
I'm
to hear that.
yeah, I don't have no parents, and My siblings are gone, and it was really hard. I then was adopted by one of my cousins. He told me I can call him brother, after I lost my family, because he knew that I didn't have, brothers or sisters. So um, after we got close, we traveled together. We traveled the circuit together as well, powwows and stuff. And he sang. He too had a heart attack last summer, and he passed in May. Yeah. So, basically, everybody that I got close to left. Also, my nephew, my sister's son, came to stay with me for a while. He was 38, and he helped me with the kids. He wanted to travel with us, and he wanted to, get into the cultural way as well. And then he drowned last year too. He passed in June.
Oh my goodness. That's
Yeah, so
so much grief.
it has been. And it took me so long to mend my heart in so many ways, and but I believe that my children kept me strong all these years, and they
Mhm.
still do. And I feel it when they're not here, because the loneliness kicks in and stuff like that. So I love it when they're all around me. They fill me. They fill my heart. They fill the emptiness.
They have a
So
way of keeping you in the moment.
yes, exactly. So but yeah, that's where where my family members now, that are no longer with us. And I basically do everything on my own, along with my common law. My common law has been my number one supporter. And, he's comforted me in so many ways, along with my kids' dad as well. He's been there, and they've both been. And some days I think to myself, I don't know whether if I want to get close to anyone anymore, because what if they leave me, And when they say, people can die of a broken heart, I believe it, because, my heart aches so much. And, I feel, one day, what if I'm not here as well, because you never know. You never know.
Mhm.
And I feel that grief still hits me once in a while in waves. But I keep their memory alive. I've did memorials. We celebrate their past lives in through round dances. I don't know if you ever heard of a round dance.
Mhm.
The round dance is it's usually held like on a weekend, and they usually start about 8 o'clock at night to three o'clock in the morning, and they have hand drums. I don't think I have one. I would have showed you how it looks. But a bunch of people, once again, they come all over, and singers come and they sing throughout the night. But only this way, everybody's joining hands, right?
Oh wow.
Everybody joins hands, and they, kind of do like a sidestep, like a circular motion, like they go around, they go clockwise. You never go counterclockwise, because it's not right. We're always, going forward, because we go forward in life no matter what, right? We just take those steps in life and we go forward. So that's the round dance, and we honor, our past loved ones through a round dance. We bring up their pictures, we share meals, we talk about, what kind of life they had before they had left. And, everybody comes and celebrates, the life that they once had here. And it's not only memorials, like it's even like a birthday. You can celebrate a birthday, and everybody comes and celebrates their birthday, like how you would, have a party or something. But This way, it's just through song and dance, and you share a meal as would be like the midnight lunch they call it.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes they offer gifts. Like we have a giveaway where we purchase gifts and we hand them out to visitors that come. Like if you came to one of our celebrations, we would give you a gift, like you would go home with a gift because that's, just our way of showing appreciation for you coming to support the families and stuff like that. So yeah,
Have
what
those been just really important to you,
they
just for processing what you've gone through?
yes, because when I put up memorials for my late parents the past 3 years, and we just did a memorial for my brother a couple months ago. So when people come to celebrate with us, they help me. They take some of my grief and they come and replace it with, warmth, love, just letting me know that they're there for me as well. They
Mm-hmm.
come in, especially the hugs and the good words and to keep moving forward. Like there's a lot of compassion in both round dance and powwows. And then we also have sun dances. Sun dances are held throughout the summer as well, but they have like a different lodge. They call it like an outside lodge. It's kind of,
Mm-hmm.
if you've seen a teepee, then these lodges are kind of similar. They go around like a teepee, but they're all made of like the wood, and the trees they go like all around like in a a circle, and then they have the one entrance where people go in. But the only place you go into a Sundance is if you're going there to dance. And when you dance in the Sundance Lodge, you're praying during the during the day, and we have prints, and they come in different colors like red and yellow, blue and green and red and white. Every color has a meaning for all our all our celebrations, like round dance, Sundance, powwow. They all have colored prints, and when you bring in prints, they know what you need prayers for. And the Sundance is where you don't come there wearing regular pants. You have to be wearing a ribbon dress or a dress, just in respect to the men.
Okay.
Yeah, like you cover yourself just to respect the men, even powwows, round dances as well. So um there's many things in our culture that we, celebrate in similar to powwows and stuff. Like there's a celebration you call like the giveaway dance, which is similar to a round dance, but you go to choose your partner, like who you want to dance with, and you also offer them a gift, and you dance with you know your your partner that you pick to give a gift to, and then once the song is over, they take the gift, and it could be anything from a blanket to a car to bikes, anything, earrings, anything, whatever they have in their hand, when they ask you to dance, that will be yours after the dance. And you wouldn't even believe some people even give horses.
Wow.
That's a
Well,
giveaway dance. Yeah.
um, thank you for sharing. I don't want to take up too much of your time because you're just such an amazing woman. And I'm grateful for all that you've shared tonight. And I hope that when are you moving? When are you moving from Lloydminster?
Um, I will know more. Probably in July, I will know more. But I know for sure we are staying throughout the summer. Might be our last summer here. Yeah. I haven't really touched base with them because they've been busy as well. Like our First Nation is doing a lot for our youth and our elders,
Mm-hmm.
and they've been really busy. They just took all our elders. We have about 2,500 elders. They took them on a trip to Las Vegas. There was 55 elders that went to Las Vegas.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, because not many elders in the reserve get to leave, right? They don't get to leave. They're always at home. They're forgotten sometimes, and it was very nice of them to get two charter buses and take them to Vegas and show them all the lights, the fancy stuff. They were there for 5 days. They came home, and now they're taking the elders again out to New Mexico for a gathering, which is called the Gathering of Nations Powwow. I don't know if you heard of that.
Wow. That's
It's
cool.
the world's biggest powwow, and they're leaving on the 27th there. So they're going to be out there celebrating. Um, the elders are going to get to see the world's largest powwow out there.
Oh, that
So
would be extraordinary.
our reserve is doing amazingly well for all their memberships there, and I really got to acknowledge Chief Tanya Stone for all her hard work. Chief Tanya Stone has been a part, of the princess's life, my daughter's life. They got to make a little bond while she represented our First Nation. And you brought up the Muriel of her being on the picture. She was totally blown away. She was so amazed. I think she's gonna come and be in attendance, so you might get to meet her when the painting goes up and everybody gets to see it. So
That would
because
be amazing. I would absolutely love that. We all would. We're gonna have a feast. I don't know the exact day, but once we do know some dates, hopefully we can see you there. I think we're gonna do the final ceremony though in September, just because everyone's away in the summer, pretty much.
yeah,
So
everybody wants to go out and enjoy that weather,
yeah,
and
which I totally understand. So
yeah.
we'll do the final ceremony, especially because, then some schools can be a part of it. And I think that's important with youth and education and why we're doing it,
Mhm.
and bringing community together. So yeah, I will email you what I know. I'm still learning so much. It's been a really beautiful experience
Yeah.
so far.
I could
Um,
sit and talk about, our culture because I've
it's
been raised that
beautiful.
way. I've been raised that way for all my life. And I've been teaching my kids that way all my life. So, it to share our way is not wrong. I love to share our culture because I want people to know, we're not out to, hurt anyone. We're not hating on anyone. We're supposed to come together because when God made this world, he made all human beings the same. And some of us just had a little lighter skin, some of us were a little darker. Just doesn't mean we're not no different. And that would make such a big impact for our youth to learn, that we're all the same. There's some out there that might, have their disagreement on things like that, but we pray for them. We pray for them as well. They're not having healthy minds. We pray for them. And so I ran into a few people like that most of my life. And when I said I would pray for them and that I know that they were taught wrong as well and they don't know any better, their mood changed. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you for being so kind and inclusive. It does make a difference, and it does go a long way. And um, growing up here, I have had the same, just like, I never knew what to do when it came to people who, felt like a separatism, and I was never brought up that way, so I didn't understand. I still don't understand it. So I I'm trying to help through my creativity the only way I know how. And hopefully it makes a difference.
I'm sure this will. I'm sure this will because, just reading about, the meaning of of the mural, the colors, it touched me so much. And when I explained to my daughter that, why her picture was going to be there, and she she was like in wow. She's only 7 years old and she was in wow. She touched her heart. She understood, why she was asked to, her picture to be up there, and she's very happy, and she always says, Mom, when can I go see it? And I told her, eventually when when you let us know when it's going up, then I told her we'll do a drive by, we'll sneak peek. And she looks at her picture that you sent me there, and looks at it all the time. She's amazed with herself, and it also encouraged her, to be kind to, her peers and the teachers. She uses her manners very well, being that role model at such a young age. She's definitely made a big impact on some already throughout
Oh,
the
that
world.
is amazing.
She's
Um,
done a lot of traveling and sharing. So
oh, good. Well, Ricky Ducharme, she's on our committee, and she had shared in our live the other day that what it meant for a young woman, a young Indigenous woman, to see their face up there, and the fact that she's already feeling that and spreading, her, she's feeling empowered and she can empower others.
yeah, yeah, she
And
definitely felt it. I felt it as well. I was like, I'm not going
hasn't even
to.
gone up yet.
I know. I'm like, but I'm so honestly glad that her picture was, came upon, and it makes me proud to be her mom, and to be a mom of all the children. Like, you should see them all dressed up and singing and stuff, and you would feel the little
Well, I'll
energy
try to
in the
make it.
road.
I'll try
Yeah.
to make it with my kids this summer somewhere. I
Well,
definitely want to.
we definitely always go to Onion Lake, and Onion Lake's not far from here, and Onion Lake is always a welcoming
Such a
community.
Yeah, such a big powwow too, right?
Yes, yes. So that would be, one of the powwows that we're going to be at this year. We
When is
always,
it? Do you know? Is it booked already?
yeah, it's in July. I just seen the poster out yesterday. I'll look it up and send you the dates again.
Okay, I'm just gonna look uh because I want to know if I can go, and that other people should go too. How-
A lot do.
20,
Honestly,
23.
even like the Hutterite colony, they come. The Hutterite colony comes out as well. And all the the people from BC, like, that are not of First Nations, you would be amazed of how many non-First Nations people come, because they're so welcomed into the community. They're always welcomed.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just talking about that one documentary. um what was it called, where the non-First Nation people stayed on, the First Nation community to see how they lived. um Oh, we were just
I
talking
don't know
about
if I saw it. Is
it's a
it on Netflix?
documentary. Yeah, it's like a documentary. So they had a little, idea of what goes on, at First Nations, because some people say, oh, they do this and they do that, but when they got more clear picture, it all made sense. Some got emotional because, seeing them dance and celebrate the culture, they felt that energy, they felt that spirit there, they felt that they just felt at peace. And they were
Mm-hmm.
saying, wow, I never knew this kind of stuff happened throughout the summer. And one was saying she wanted to go back and she wanted to get, a ribbon skirt and stuff like that made for herself. And it's not wrong. You just because you're not First Nation doesn't mean you can't wear a ribbon dress. You can. You certainly can because you get it gifted to you or you can purchase it for yourself. But I think it's a little more meaningful when it's a gift.
Mm-hmm. There is
Yeah,
so much love and acceptance
yeah, there
in
is.
Indigenous culture.
Yeah,
Um, and and so I don't see what's wrong with that, you
yeah.
know?
It's a
Um,
very it's such a beautiful place to be, and there's always a bunch of activities for the children to do, and it's a sober place. They're all sober
mhm,
events. We don't
mhm,
have no alcohol, anything like that used in any cultural events. It's all sober and it's all 100%, racist free, and where everybody's so joyful, even for the kids when they don't want to watch the powwow, they have bouncy houses.
Um,
The
I
food,
looked, I couldn't find the 2023 date yet. I hope I'm home. I hope maybe it'll be in like the middle of the mural making and I'll be home.
yeah,
And I would love I think it was like the 17th last year. But
I'm pretty sure, I think it's in that same area, like the 17,
okay.
18, 19. Yeah, it's somewhere in there.
Hopefully
I know the poster's
hopefully
out. Yeah,
Okay. I'll keep my eye out and my ear to the ground for that. And hopefully we will meet or there or at the mural sometime. But I'm very, very grateful for your time tonight and for your energy because you're just, yeah, I'm very grateful to have met you and been emailing with you. And I can't wait for the future. I know we don't know what it will hold, but I'm very excited. And we'll touch base soon.
definitely. And, hopefully, baby's healthy in that. And you get to, also see the new baby and, get a
Oh,
full
that will
picture.
be amazing.
All the kids are
I'll
excited.
get some baby snuggles because I think I'm done.
Yeah. Well, I honestly thought I was done as well, but God's will, I guess, He
Yeah,
says I'm
life it
done, I'm
has
not
its own
done.
plans. That's for
Definitely.
sure. Yeah.
I'm fortunately, honestly, very blessed. I'm very grateful to have this honor to carry one more time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, I wish you love and happiness uh and so
Thank
much with
you.
all that you carry.
Same to you.
Okay, we'll talk soon.
Definitely. Have a good night.
You too.
I'm going to say this again. I'm going to quote Jim again because I love it so much. Fear is going to be a player in your life, but you get to decide how much. So your choices every day. You get to decide how it overtakes your life. You can spend your whole life imagining ghosts, worrying about the pathway to the future. But all there will ever be is what is happening here in the decision we make in this moment, which are based in either love or fear. So I just love that so much. You should sit on that a little bit and really write down what comes up for you when we think about those things, like what fears are paralyzing you every day. What can you do right now to overcome them? So what can you do in this very moment? So say you're like, I'm really scared of like moving my body every day. Like, what will that mean, like, do I have time for it? Will people judge me while I'm doing it? Stuff like that. So that's a really good example. And I'll always go back to nobody actually cares, which is, it can be seen as something mean, but everyone has so much going on that they really don't care about you in the gym or you trying to run or whatever you're trying to do. Everything you can fit in. I wrote my book in 15 minutes a day. I sat and that was a big one. That was a big overcoming fear thing. It's like, first of all, I was told my whole life that I couldn't write. So huge, like, putting sentences together, speaking clearly, public speaking, huge one. When you do things in like a daily, habitual, routine-like way, over time, it all melts away. It's like, oh, actually, I can just sit down and write whatever I want now. I could sit down and write a book again if I chose. Every time I write our weekly inspiration letter, and when I sit down to get this podcast going, I am stepping all over that fear of not being able to write or communicate when I have so much to say and so much to offer. And now it's not about me. I think about it in the way of the energy around it. So how it's going to affect others, how it can impact their life, how this one thing maybe can change one person's life and they can overcome that fear, right? So I really focus on the energy around it. If we're going back to what you're doing, like the gym example or the walking, or are people going to judge me? Your energy, that's what you're focusing on. How is that shift in, being more confident in my own skin going to change my whole entire life by building this habitual good routine into my life? It's going to make you happier. It's going to make you healthier. It's going to make you just have that extra pep in your step. I know, because I've been there. I know what daily movement can do, the power of it. How is that going to affect your energy? You're doing that for that energy. You're not doing it so you can go down a pant size. Fuck no. You're doing it because you want to be a better you and see your everyday ordinary as extraordinary. That's why we're here. That's why we do this podcast. So thank you for tuning in. We couldn't do it without our amazing, also community expanders who focus on the energy. We have a lot of local sponsors. We have Red Bicycle Communications, Nouveau Laser and Aesthetic Center, BioClean, Disaster Services, and Oasis. I almost did it. Oasis Hot Yoga and Spin Studio. There we go. Sorry, Oasis. All amazing community contributors and expanders. And that's the thing. When you do things you love, so many people will come up and meet you at your level, and you'll meet the people that were meant to be in your life. And I talk about that a lot in my book. Like, I've let go of a lot of relationships and friendships that were toxic because you need the people that are meeting you at your level, and it's so important. This could be a whole podcast in itself, really. But what you choose to surround yourself with, and that's music, movies, reading, people. Okay? Very important. When you start like this, really, the journey of expansion really started for me with like diving into a lot of self-help, and I constantly listen to it in the car, in the morning. I read on it every morning. So those daily habits of expansion, again, add up to a huge life. So, and you being here, this is it. This is a uplifting, motivational podcast. My book too. All things that help uplift you. And we also do a lot of mind work in our classes if you're looking to expand your creativity. So thank you again for being here. Love you so much, and we'll chat with you. If you're looking for some time for yourself to relax, release, and unwind, Oasis has the perfect space for you. They offer yoga and spin classes of all levels. Whether you are a beginner or advanced student, Oasis thrives on accommodating all aspects of the practice. Let their serene environment and gracious staff help you in your journey of peace, healing, and strength. Sign up online at www.oasishotyogastudio.com or by downloading the Oasis Hot Yoga Studio app. Feel like yourself. You deserve it.